Imagine flying down a stretch of asphalt at like 190 miles an hour.
Oh, it's terrifying to even think about.
Right. Your internal organs are just compressing under 5 Gs of lateral force. Your vision is literally physically vibrating. And the only thing keeping you from launching into a concrete wall is this tiny piece of carbon fiber, like the size of a dinner plate.
Yeah, and you're just trusting it implicitly.
Exactly. And then a voice just crackles in your earpiece to casually inform you that that piece is broken.
Well, it's the ultimate nightmare scenario for a driver.
Yeah.
I mean, you are operating a machine at the absolute jagged edge of physics,
Yeah.
where just a millimeter of miscalculation means complete disaster.
Right.
And suddenly the physical reality of what the car is doing just no longer matches the data being fed to your steering wheel.
That terrifying disconnect, that gap between human intuition, chaotic engineering, and systems just completely breaking down is exactly what we're looking at today. Welcome to this deep dive.
Glad to be here for this one. It's a wild ride.
It really is. Today, our mission is to pull you straight onto the pit wall of the 2026 British Grand Prix at Silverstone. We've got this massive stack of raw, completely unedited radio communications and, track action audio from the race.
And it is raw. Like, you can hear the panic.
Oh, absolutely. We are going to decode the panic, the strategy, and the raw emotion of a race that just pushed everyone to the absolute breaking point. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, to really understand how this race dissolved into such incredible chaos.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to look at the opening seconds.
The launch.
Right, because the aggression right off the line really set the physical toll for the mechanical carnage that followed. The moment the 5 red lights go out at Silverstone, Charles Leclerc instantly grabs the lead from the front row.
He just rockets past Kimi Antonelli.
Immediately jumping him, yeah. But the real story, the thing we need to focus on, is happening just behind him with Lewis Hamilton.
Right, because Hamilton faces just a catastrophic disaster before they even hit the first corner.
He gets slapped with a 5-second penalty for moving before the lights go out.
And, 5 seconds might not sound like much to a normal person on a highway, but in Formula One...
Oh, 5 seconds is a lifetime.
Right. You might as well pull the car over, turn off the engine, and get out.
Seriously. And this is where you hear the immediate psychological management from the Mercedes pit wall.
Yeah, his engineer jumps on the radio, basically trying to put out the fire in Hamilton's head before it consumes his entire race.
You hear him say, he was being squeezed into you. She made the right, all right, mate, let's just focus here. There's nothing we could do on that one. There's no problem, mate. Focus on us here.
I love that response so much. I mean, they aren't debating the penalty. They aren't getting on the horn to complain to the stewards.
No time for that.
They are literally just building a mental firewall for their driver. They shift his focus entirely to the target ahead, which is getting past Hülkenberg.
And what follows is an absolute overtaking masterclass from Hamilton. But, and this is key, he's doing it while dealing with this severe energy crisis.
Yes. The radio traffic between Hamilton and his engineer just becomes frantic here. You hear all these rapid-fire commands like, think about boost, and then strap 10. There's deployment strategy, followed by, let's use K0 early to get the sock back up, and we'll get back in.
It's just a wall of technical jargon.
Okay, hold on. Let me stop you there, because to anyone listening, that just sounds like a random string of numbers and letters. What exactly is Hamilton doing in the cockpit when he gets the order to use, like, K0 and strap 10?
So we're talking about the MGUK, the Motor Generator Unit Kinetic. It's the system that harvests energy under braking and then deploys it for a massive horsepower boost.
Right, the hybrid system.
Exactly. The SOC they're referring to is the state of charge of the battery. So strap 10 is a command to change a rotary dial on the steering wheel that completely alters the engine's power mapping.
Okay.
And K0 means zero kinetic harvesting. So it's this incredibly aggressive mode where the car just stops saving energy for later and just dumps all available electrical power into the rear wheels for maximum attack.
Okay, so it's essentially like managing a smartphone battery that you have to aggressively drain to 1% just to get enough speed to pass a truck on the highway.
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
But then you have to instantly recharge it by braking perfectly into the next corner before the phone dies completely.
Yeah.
And you're doing all this while trying to solve a Rubik's Cube while riding a roller coaster.
That is a very accurate, if terrifying, way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to fight, but his battery is constantly draining to zero because he's spending all his electrical capital trying to make up for that 5-second penalty.
And it pays off remarkably in one of the most demanding sections of track on the entire Formula One calendar, which is Copse Corner.
Oh, Copse is brutal.
You listen to the track audio, and the commentator's just losing his mind. He's yelling, "Doing same lap time, here we go," with Lewis Hamilton roaring by into Copse Corner and making it stick.
And taking a position at Copse requires absolute unwavering commitment. It is a blind, high-speed right-hand sweep taken at nearly 180 miles per hour.
It's insane.
If you get it wrong there, there is zero runoff area to save you. You're just in the wall.
But he doesn't stop there. He takes second from Antonelli, then goes side by side through the Maggots and Beckett sequence to keep it pinned against his own teammate, George Russell.
Yeah, his own teammate.
You hear the call, Russell won't like that one bit, and here they're side by side into Maggots, and Hamilton keeps it pinned. And then he eventually dives past Max Verstappen to reclaim third position. He literally fought his way back to the podium on a completely drained battery.
What's fascinating here is how that aggressive, limit-pushing driving inevitably comes to collect a debt for the machinery.
For sure. You can't cheat physics forever.
Right. You cannot violently throw a car over those aggressive curbs at Copse and Maggots lap after lap without consequences. And that physical abuse plunges the entire grid into this sudden state of mechanical triage.
Triage is definitely the word. Because right after we see Hamilton pulling off these absolute miracles, the radio traffic descends into a complete panic. Teams are suddenly dealing with broken cars everywhere.
It was like a war zone out there.
Nico Hülkenberg has to pull over at the old pit exit by Copse. His radio is just desperate. You hear, "Nico, we need to stop the car. We need to stop the car. Sorry, we have an issue. We have a hydraulic issue." But the real drama, the heart-stopping stuff, hits George Russell.
Yeah, his race engineer delivers news that just chills the blood at Silverstone. He says very calmly, "We got slow puncher, right rear."
No slow puncture. At 190 miles an hour, I just can't even fathom hearing that.
It's terrifying. And yet Russell somehow manages to keep his foot buried in the throttle. Even with the tire deflating, he pushes past Max Verstappen on the apex.
Which is just wild.
The track audio captures it perfectly. The announcer goes, "Does George Russell come into the pits?" He goes past Max Verstappen on the apex at this stage. Verstappen can't defend, but he can keep it pinned. Doesn't give George Russell an inch. And George Russell, the slow puncher, he can't keep it out and he has to come in.
But when he does finally come in, the pit wall communication turns into this frantic, high-speed diagnostic puzzle. It wasn't just a simple tire change. The engineers are trying to figure out if there's a fundamental issue with the car.
Right, because of the curbs.
Yeah, you hear them debating, is there a bigger fundamental issue, or is it another puncture they've spotted? You go over the curb and there it breaks on the left-hand side.
And that leads to one of the most incredible exchanges of the entire race.
Yeah.
They are desperately trying to figure out if the actual suspension strut is broken or if it's just an aerodynamic piece.
Yeah.
The engineer relays to the pit wall, "Suspension is broken. We think it's just the wheel shield left-hand side so the car is not turning."
Okay, I need to pause on that sentence right there. The car is not turning. And Russell responds, "There's something fundamental, mate, in the car doesn't turn." How on earth does a broken wheel shield, which is, let's be honest, basically just a flimsy aerodynamic cover, prevent a steering wheel from turning the massive rubber tires?
I know it sounds crazy, but because at those speeds, turning the steering wheel doesn't actually turn the car.
Wait, what?
Aerodynamic downforce does. A modern Formula One car relies entirely on this invisible air pressure pushing the tires down into the asphalt.
Okay.
So the wheel shield's job is to manage the highly turbulent, dirty air that comes off the spinning front tire. If that carbon fiber shield snaps from hitting a curb, the air violently separates.
Oh, wow.
You lose all aerodynamic load on that side of the front axle. So when Russell turns the steering wheel, the tire just skims uselessly across the top of the asphalt because there's literally no air pressure pushing it down into the track.
That makes so much more sense. The car essentially becomes a sled at that point.
Exactly, yeah.
And it really highlights the razor-thin line between a brilliant strategic gamble and a highly dangerous mechanical failure. Pitwall has to decide in a split second, do we retire the car or do we bring it in, rip off the broken wheel shield and send him back out to fight?
And you hear them make that pivot in real time over the radio. They literally broadcast, "So we'll retire the car," and then almost instantly reverse course and say, "Box the car, we'll try and remove the wheel shield and go again."
And the fact that Russell somehow survives this absolute war of attrition to eventually secure second place is just unbelievable.
It's a testament to his skill, really.
His engineer tells him at the end, George Russell gets up to second place and minimizes the damage in the World Championship. Nice job. Just keep going until the checkered flag comes out. You never know.
But of course, all that debris, the shattered wheel shields, the blown hydraulic lines, the rubber eventually trigger a safety car.
Naturally.
Now, usually a safety car neutralizes the race. It bunches the pack up, it forces everyone to drive to a strict speed limit, and gives the strategist a moment to breathe and run the numbers.
Usually, yes. But the safety car deployment in this specific race didn't neutralize anything. It acted as an accelerant.
It really did.
It created a brand new layer of catastrophic confusion and just pure heartbreak.
We should probably start with the heartbreak. Max Verstappen.
Yeah, Verstappen. I mean, he was right there in the mix, fighting for a podium position. He was managing his pace, surviving all the cops' corner chaos. And then suddenly, he's out.
Just gone.
He loses the car and goes straight into the gravel trap. The frustration on his radio is so raw and so defeated, he just mutters, "Unbelievable, suck at this car. Unbelievable."
Well, when you lose that aerodynamic grip, like we just discussed with Russell's wheel shield, the margin for error completely vanishes.
Yeah.
Verstappen found that margin. And while he is fuming in the gravel, watching his race slip away, the rest of the grid is dealing with a complete systemic breakdown of race control communications regarding the safety car.
Okay, I have to challenge the premise of what happens next because reading these audio transcripts absolutely blew my mind.
I know where you're going with this.
Formula One is a multi-billion-dollar sport, right? These teams have massive mission control rooms back at their factories with hundreds of engineers analyzing real-time telemetry from every single millimeter of the track. They know the exact core temperature of the brake discs at all times.
Down to the decimal, yeah.
How on earth does a faulty TV graphic cause world-class race engineers to second-guess themselves during a double yellow flag? It makes no sense.
I get the skepticism, I really do. But it's crucial to understand what that graphic actually is. It's not the TV broadcast graphic that you or I see at home on the couch.
Okay.
It is the FIA's official, centralized marshalling telemetry system. The teams are legally bound by it. During a safety car, drivers have to follow a strict delta time on their steering wheel dash.
Yeah.
It's a positive or negative time that dictates exactly how fast they are legally allowed to drive.
Right, to keep everyone safe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If they get a message that the safety car is coming in, they are allowed to drop the delta, heat up their tires, and prepare to race. If you pit under a safety car, it's a huge strategic advantage. But if you pit right as it's ending, you ruin your entire race.
Wow.
So the engineers are staring at this official timing page, waiting for the green light.
And the audio logs capture the exact moment the centralized system just lies to them. You hear an engineer say, "Safety car is in this lap. Safety car is in this lap. Get close. Remember everything we always talk about, high revs."
They're getting ready to pounce.
They are prepping the driver to drop the delta and attack. And then, mere seconds later, just sheer panic. The radio crackles, "We just recalled the safety car, so not sure if it is coming. Safety car is not coming in. Safety car not coming in. Correction. Safety car will stay out really okay." The graphic was the safety car was in this lap according to the timing page.
It is pure strategic whiplash. They trusted the official FIA data feed over their own trackside intuition. And because the safety car was suddenly redeployed, the track conditions were thrown into an ambiguous gray area.
It's a total mess.
The driver's steering wheel deltas were completely out of sync with the physical reality of the track.
And nobody suffered from this digital breakdown worse than Lando Norris.
Oh, poor Lando.
The poor guy gets caught out on his in-lap trying to play by the rules and follow his dash delta, and other cars are just illegally blowing past him left and right. His engineer's on the radio trying to manage the situation, saying, "Lando, it's a bit crap for the Lando stand, but there's no overtaking on this in-lap," and Lando is just helplessly watching his race fall apart.
His frustration is entirely justified. You hear Lando responding, "I'm just trying to stay out of everyone's way. They're just racing."
Yeah.
He is trying to follow the legal safety car speed limit, and Lewis Hamilton and half the grid are just ignoring it because of the conflicting information.
The McLaren team actually has to issue a formal apology to him on the radio. They say, "Apologies for Leon. It's on us. It's a good day for the team, but it's not good enough. We need to give you all the tools, so we'll do better apologies."
And the Leon part is fascinating.
Yes. By the way, if you look at the raw, unedited voice-to-text logs, the algorithm literally spits out Leon instead of Lando because the audio is so chaotic and garbled by the engines.
The AI just gave up, yeah.
Lando responds with remarkable restraint given the circumstances. He says, "Yeah, I'm going to be honest, that annoys me. Yeah, that's the same for me. I'm not mad at you. It's just,
Aye.
yeah, it's really frustrating.
This whole sequence raises a fascinating question about cognitive load. While McLaren and Mercedes are screaming at their pit walls about broken deltas and faulty timing pages, and Verstappen is throwing his steering wheel in the gravel trap, what does it actually take to tune out that massive volume of noise and execute a perfect race?
Well, that brings us to the eye of the storm, really, Charles Leclerc. Because while the entire British Grand Prix was descending into this chaotic, debris-filled communications meltdown, Leclerc managed to completely isolate himself from it.
He secures his 9th career victory, and remarkably, his first since 2024. But to really understand the gravity of this win, we have to look at the brutal context of his season leading up to Silverstone.
It wasn't pretty.
No, the sources paint a very dark picture of his recent struggles.
Yeah, the performance analysis really lays it out bare. He was completely adrift of his teammates' pace in Canada. He put the car in the wall on 2 different occasions at his home race in Monaco.
Heartbreaking.
He ended up in the barriers during Q3 in Barcelona, and he had absolutely no pace in Austria. The motorsport press was literally wondering, as the report stated, if the magic was fading away.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, driving for Ferrari carries a psychological weight that is unlike anything else in global motorsport.
Oh, the pressure cooker of Maranello.
Exactly. You aren't just driving a car, you are carrying the expectations of an entire nation. When you are winning, you are a god in Italy. But when you are losing, the Italian media and the internal pressure can completely dismantle your confidence.
I can't even imagine.
Crashing at your home race in Monaco, hitting barriers in crucial qualifying sessions, that creates a devastating compounding spiral of self-doubt. The telemetry might say the car is fine, but the driver's head is completely shattered.
But at Silverstone, he broke that spiral. He didn't let the faulty safety car graphics or the crumbling aerodynamic shields dictate his reality, and when he finally crosses the finish line, the radio message is incredibly powerful.
Gives you goosebumps.
It's pure, unadulterated catharsis. The team yells, "Shame Schiller wins the British Grand Prix. Tough times never last. Only tough people last. Let's go, I will die, finally." And again, you look at the raw text logs, and it says, "Shame Schiller" instead of Charles Leclerc, because the race engineer is just screaming so loudly into the microphone that the algorithm breaks down completely.
Which is just incredible, and Leclerc's response back to the pit wall is so telling. You hear him say, "This one felt particularly good, even though I wished a bit of a more normal ending, but hard work pays off." And as you said, tough time never lasts.
Yeah.
Only tough people left.
Yeah.
This wasn't just a win based on finding the right aerodynamic setup or having a clever tire strategy. It was a victory of profound mental fortitude.
It really is. So what does this all mean for you listening to this? Obviously, you aren't managing kinetic energy harvesting while taking Cops Corner at 190 miles an hour.
Probably not, no.
But the 2026 British Grand Prix offers a masterclass in navigating highly complex failing systems.
Exactly. The core lesson from Silverstone isn't about driving fast. It's about what you do when the instruments you rely on start lying to you.
That's the real takeaway. Whether you're looking at a steering wheel dash telling you the safety car is in, or, a data dashboard at work telling you a project is fine when your gut says it isn't, the challenge is filtering out the bad data.
And looking at the contrast is key.
Right. Look at McLaren and race control completely melting down over a faulty timing server, while Leclerc tuned out the noise, ignored the goose of his crashes in Monaco, and just drove the physical reality of the track in front of him.
He trusted his instincts over the chaos of the system. He maintained his focus when the literal wheels were falling off for everyone else.
And it leaves me with this final, somewhat provocative thought to mull over. We constantly talk about modern Formula One as this pinnacle of hyper-advanced technology.
Right, the ultimate engineering sport.
It's an era defined by algorithmic strategy, hybrid engine energy deployment, and millimeter-perfect aerodynamic modeling. But in the end, the 2026 British Grand Prix wasn't decided by an algorithm.
Not at all.
It was ultimately decided by 2 deeply human factors. First, human error in the form of a broken central timing server that panicked the brightest engineers in the world. And second, sheer stubborn human emotion, proving that a resilient mind is still the ultimate competitive advantage.
It's a brilliant reminder. No matter how advanced the machine gets or how perfect the telemetry appears, it's always the human in the cockpit that has to weather the storm.
So the next time your seemingly perfect data-driven systems start flashing red and feeding you conflicting information, remember what it takes to navigate the chaos. Thank you so much for joining us on the pit wall for this deep dive. Trust your instincts, filter the noise, and we'll see you next time.